What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast. Happy Tuesday. I'm Matt Pegg. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peg. Joined by my guys here in the studio, Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports, Will the Go Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. On the producer's controls, it's our guy Braggs. What's up, buddy boy?
Let's go. DNVR, baby. Represent. I'm ready.
Will, you weren't here for our first show with Braggs last week, were you?
Oh, you missed the ride. You remember the shockwave at the Six Flags? Just very intense.
Let's just say our takeoff of our show last week with Braggs was a little rocky.
He wasn't ready for the game time, man. You know, I throw it at him. He wasn't ready.
Okay.
He wasn't
I see
ready.
what's going on here. I see what's going on here.
He'll be ready from now on, though.
Braggs, as you said, the vibes over there in Denver are immaculate. Last night, this morning, the party rages on. The Denver Nuggets are your 2023 NBA champions. We're going to talk a lot about what we saw in the NBA Finals in their conclusive Game 5 last night. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk a little bit of Jimmy Butler. We're going to talk a little bit about AK, who helped build that Nuggets core, and also talk about how he didn't build all of it, and now where we are as Bulls fans with him at the helm.
Can we just first, over under 2.5 hours of sleep for DNVR crew?
Man, I saw a video that Brendan posted this morning. He looked like he sat down on a couch, closed his eyes for 10 minutes, and then woke up and started his day.
They are just
he looked
such
disheveled as hell, but happy.
Did you see the ESPN posted the video of Dev?
No.
The yellow polo. And
the Nuggets outfit that he rocked?
Yeah,
Good
I've been
for
seeing
him.
that getting
It's
a
like
lot of traction. Yeah.
ESPN, all the oh man,
That's awesome, man. It's
what
their
a,
time,
What a
baby.
legendary moment.
Man,
It's their time.
and
I'm
super
for
happy
real.
for them.
I mean, mostly as I was watching last night, I was rooting for the Nuggets for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is for our ALLCITY family over there in Denver. You know, Dave and I, you went out there to catch the beginning of these NBA Finals to see what that electric Nuggets fan base was like, to be immersed in it, and I'm so happy for those Nuggets fans. So happy for them.
No, they deserve it. Like I said, it's nothing like the first one. And what was it, 40-something years?
47 years.
Wow, that is a long time. And, yeah, 47 years of not experiencing pretty much any winning in Denver, like on any team. And in less than 12 months, you pretty much got two. You know, you got
Avs
one
Cup
with
last
the
year.
Avs, and now you've got, the Denver Nuggets, who is the lead dog, the Denver Nuggets. So, well, I'm sorry, the Broncos are the lead dog. Let's be real about that.
But see, that's the
they're
cool
the lead
thing
dog right now because of Jokic and who they have.
About local coverage, what we're doing here at CHGO, what they're doing at DNVR. From what I've heard from them, from what I gather, like sports talk radio and sports coverage in Denver was just nothing but Broncos. It's all people cared about.
Right.
And this, you see, NHL team like the Avalanche get good and then want local coverage of it and a local community if you are a fan of that team. Right. And then the same goes for this Nuggets team that has gotten better and better and better until finally being champions. And to have that be like, it's not just Broncos country.
Right.
Like there are teams in the city that we care about, that those fans care about, and they want to be a part of that community. It was really cool to see them celebrating with their fellow Nuggets fans in that DNVR bar last night. Like, those vibes, like that's why we do this.
Yeah, there were people kissing their significant others. There was a couple of tears. There were a couple people just taking moments to themselves. Like it was just fun to watch. Like I was like, yeah, this is dope. Then congratulations to him, man. Like, and that's an underdog city, an underdog team, and all of it, because there was plenty of talking heads that said they didn't want to see Denver win because Denver's boring. They didn't care. It was like, it's not a story. We don't want to see it.
There have been some bad takes going around the internet today.
Boring is good.
I think Chris Mannix took the cake of bad takes this morning.
Took the cake.
Yeah. This isn't an all-time playoff run by the Nuggets because they weren't challenged by anybody. Yeah. So you're saying that they aren't impressive because they kicked every team's ass that they faced?
Now, keep in mind, people were picking the Lakers to beat them.
Right.
And the Suns.
But they didn't play
and
nobody.
The Suns.
And the Suns.
The big bad Suns with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
But they didn't play nobody. You know what I'm saying? But no, they're picking other people to whoop their ass. But no, they didn't play anybody. Yeah, ain't nobody hearing that shit, dog. They got out there and they won. They whooped everybody's ass in front of them.
People who were claiming that this finals was boring, and it was quick work for the Nuggets, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
The Heat mucked up some of the games. They certainly mucked up Game 5. It was not pretty, but even though the Nuggets struggled offensively, in Game 5 to close out this series, they still found a way to win.
Yeah.
After floundering in Game 2, they won Games 3, 4, and 5 primarily with their defense.
Yeah,
not letting the Heat do much. But, I mean, what's boring about Nikola Jokic becoming the first player ever in NBA history? I don't know if you have that stat. Tweet, Braggs. I've got it here, too. So 600 points, 269 rebounds, and 190 assists for Nikola Jokic in these playoffs. First player ever in NBA history to lead all players in all three of those stats for a full postseason.
It's just plain old-fashioned
What's boring about that?
People who are saying that are telling on themselves that they've never watched the Nuggets before. The Nuggets are clearly a really fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Like, how could you watch Jokic and not enjoy yourself? I just don't get it.
There are plenty of people who didn't, and there are plenty of people who admitted that they didn't, and I respect them because they said, well, we haven't been watching.
Yeah.
You know, so I really don't know much. That's fine. But it's those other guys that he's talking about right here who aren't watching them but still have these deep opinions. You know what I'm saying? Right. But they'll still have these deep opinions on them, even though you haven't watched the team play.
Right.
And that's where the dumbness sets in on this, man.
I mean, even just like the fact that his playoff numbers, 30, 13.5, 9.5. For a full playoffs in which your team went 16-4 and won the chip.
That's dumb. Like, do you understand how dumb that is? That's ridiculous, man. That is truly ridiculous. And he was doing it round after round after round. But at the moment when you got to have it,
right,
he really, truly showed out and put it on these cats, man.
Right.
And he did it every kind of way. You wanted it. And that's what always impressed me so much about. That's why I call him a 7-foot-tall Larry Bird, because he does it from three. He could do it from the perimeter. He could do it with the pass. He could do it with his rebounding. He can start the break, but then he can go inside and still utilize the fact that he's 7 feet tall.
Which is what he did when the Nuggets were trying to find a way to climb back, after the Heat had come back and taken the lead. It was just inside Jokic buckets a lot down the stretch.
Honestly, and I have to go over some other players before I start saying this stuff, but I'll just say one of the softest touches around the rim I've ever seen. Not just by a big man, but by a player, period. I've never seen a touch that soft. He plays the rim. He doesn't play putting it into the net. He plays the rim. And the timing of what he does, you watch him. Like, he'll time the hit. Boom, he'll be like, okay, well, if you hit me this way, I can throw it up this way. Oh, if you hit me this way, I know I'm going to fade it back this way. Just watch how he does it. It's a real science going on when he's doing basketball, playing basketball out there.
Like
man.
Dennis and his rebounding.
Yes, exactly. No, that's exactly right. It's exactly right, man.
Click, boom.
It's
here, click there.
It's something to watch, man. Like, because there are many times, and I don't know if you did it or you did it, but there were many times I just sat and said, how the hell did he make that?
Yeah.
How the hell did that go in?
Why did that bounce 4 times on the rim?
Like, dude, it was insane. The passes. No, not many people can throw an alley-oop from the dotted line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, inside the goal. You know, right where you're supposed to, what do they call it, the charge?
Charge circle.
Charge circle. Not many people can throw an alley-oop from there.
Yeah.
He's doing that. That's insane. That doesn't exist.
His feel for the game is, like, just absolutely elite of the elite.
Yeah. It's like none other I've honestly seen in all my years of watching basketball, just to be that intelligent around the rim, but still be that physical, still be that dominant. And the one thing I like about their team, they didn't let the refs spoil it for them. When the refs could have easily done that.
Damn near tried.
They tried.
That foul.
Yeah.
That got Jimmy 3 free throws at the end. Dear God, I almost threw up.
But even when those things are happening to them, it never stops them. You don't see them stopping to complain. You don't see them stopping the game, do any of that. They call it, they're down the floor. They're back down the floor. They're not happy about it. They're talking about it as they're back down the floor, but they're constantly moving. It's a constant motion offensively and defensively with this team. It's impressive, man. It's impressive. They're impressive.
Fontaine Creamer said, I love how Joker said, we did our jobs, now we can go home.
Right, it's exactly what he said.
So many elite Joker post-game quotes, press conference quotes. When that one person was asking him if he was excited about the parade.
Right, when is it?
When is parade? When is parade? Thursday. Nah, I got to go home.
I got to get out of here. I got to get up out of here.
But
it's so cool how little he cares.
I mean.
He doesn't care.
Cared about winning.
Yeah.
And like seeing, I think it was part of SportsCenter's coverage last night, somebody got a great video of him and Jamal Murray embracing on the court after they had won, showing their appreciation for one another.
Yeah.
Experiencing that moment of shared joy. It was so cool. People who aren't, You say, oh, the Nuggets aren't interesting. Those two star players, those teammates who were both drafted into this team, have suffered setback after setback, got close, another setback to finally reach the mountaintop for the first time in the franchise's history is so cool. Dave, I know you wanted to touch on the where is Joker all-time big men all-time conversation because people have been throwing that conversation around as the Nuggets have made their way to this championship. I saw a really interesting graphic that Shaq actually posted on his Instagram. Bragg's pulling up for you right there. So your top 5, I'm guessing, Kareem, Hakeem, Shaq, Wilt, Russ, Bill Russell, in some order. Is it those 5? Because
Kareem,
you also have
Hakeem,
David Robinson and Patrick Ewing on that graphic.
Shaq, Wilt, Bill. Yeah, those 5. I don't have David Robinson or Ewing on mine. I have Moses Malone on mine.
Okay.
That's the one I would replace with that. But I have Jokic 7th right now.
Yeah.
I have him over Ewing and I have him over David Robinson right now. But yeah, Moses, Kareem, Hakeem, Shaq, Wilt, and Bill are the 6 that I have ahead of him. Because I can't put Ewing there because he didn't ring. So that kind of hurts.
Never even won an
MVP. Right. None of those things because he played during Jordan. But he doesn't have those things, so I can't do it. David Robinson, you could definitely make the argument for sure. You know, that's D-Rob.
2 championships,
right,
an MVP, a scoring title.
Correct. But when he was winning his championships, was he the best player on the team?
I mean, I think even rookie Tim Duncan
That's what I'm saying.
was better than David Robinson.
I mean, I
in
know
99.
I know, he didn't win Finals MVP. I know that.
And then certainly, unquestionably, 03,
Yeah,
the next
he
one
was
where
chilling.
Robinson was
Yeah,
there. I
he
mean,
was chilling.
Admiral was.
So for those reasons, like it's hard for me to not put Jokic ahead of you, especially when you're reaching Wilt stuff. You know what I mean? And that's a rare air that he's reaching up there, man. And
it wasn't just Wilt. It was like literally every game. He broke some record.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was usually Wilt.
And like for the fourth quarter of every game, it was like, oh, here's Jokic's 16th rebound. He just broke this record.
Right.
Oh, here's his 9th assist. That's his. It's just like every moment of every game he was breaking a record.
The DNVR crew took to just calling it not even Wilt.
Right.
Every time he did something and it was a right. Not even Wilt.
Always
not
Wilt,
even
dog.
Wilt did this.
Like when you're in that air, dog, like you're a special kind of basketball player. So back-to-back MVPs, triple doubles just out of control. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous what he's done, in this league in this amount of time, and he still has a lot of time left to do it again.
Right.
So they can run this back next year, and do it again, and then we'll be back having the same conversation again next year.
And the thing that I've seen a lot of people bring up is, look, if Jamal Murray does not tear his ACL, I mean, like they were right there in the bubble. They were so close.
They were there, man.
That Lakers team was determined.
Yeah.
But people who were trying to make the argument that Jamal Murray was not that big of a difference maker, and that the Nuggets were not that good even when he would come back and get healthy.
People actually say that?
Yeah, seriously.
Plenty of people trying to make that argument. Yeah.
Talk to them.
Starting point guard.
Nick Wright for one.
And we only don't count the bubble because LeBron won. Had he not had the Nuggets won, we would have counted it. That's just the point I'd like to make.
You think so?
Well, for me.
Oh, for you.
Because I'm a professional hater.
A professional hater.
This is why Braxton
Welcome to
friends.
I'm about to say, welcome to Matthew Peck, sir. Welcome to your friend.
Oh.
So
Go ahead.
for me, I just think like I think you probably do have to put him like 6th on that list or whatever. But I think the more interesting question is how high can he climb? Because we do this every year with the like, recency bias, reactive thinking, overreacting, underreacting to things.
Sure.
Like all of a sudden people are talking about Jokic is a top 10 player of all time. And it's like statistically you've got an argument, like skill wise, sure, maybe, but like every single person in the top 10, even probably top 15 has like multiple championships. And I just feel like that's a tier you need to get to be in that conversation.
Correct.
It is.
So yes, the Nuggets could run it back for sure. I think I was talking to my friend Sam about this earlier today, and he was saying like the Nuggets are the only team that is not in shambles right now. Everybody else is like trying to figure out who they are, trying to figure out what they're doing this summer. There's going to be major trades. There's going to be draft picks shuffling back and forth. The Nuggets are secure in who they are. They're probably going to add and get better. Who knows what happens with like their mid-level exception, but they are secure in who they are. They could absolutely run it back. And at that point, if it's 2 titles, 2 Finals MVPs, 2 MVPs. Like then you start seeing him climb.
And their starting 5 from this playoff run, this title run, are all locked up for next season, and I think most of them for the following season.
They're all young.
They're young. Bruce Brown is the one name that people are talking about as a potential departure, a potential loss for them, and he was huge for them in these playoffs. A great addition in the offseason.
Shout out to him.
But then maybe he was just caught up in the joy of the moment. But when he was asked about it post game, he was like, "I'm coming back. I won't come back.
Seems comfortable.
Money ain't everything.
It ain't. Comfort is important."
Would he have said, "Yeah, I'm gone," though?
Maybe not.
If he was playing on the Bulls, he would.
I mean,
Bulls in the 90s, he would say that.
we saw our pal Bobby Portis do that with that Bucks team that won a chip.
Yeah,
he could have made much more money elsewhere, but he's like, "Nah, man, I'll take a Milwaukee discount.
This is true.
Stay with this championship team."
It's a newer kind of generation now, man.
And that's what happens when you're a really good team. You get those kind of players to take discounts.
But I want to answer your question: how high can he go? I think 3 is the highest he can go.
After,
I don't think he can go past Bill or Kareem.
okay.
I don't think so. I can't see that, especially not Kareem.
But that's-
I can't see that. But
Knowing you and understanding how much you respect Hakeem, that says a lot to me.
no question about it. Like you can't deny the accolades that he could still get. You know what I mean? He still can get you like 3 more MVPs if possible. Like he's still in that realm of 3 more MVPs, a few more titles, a few more All NBAs, All-Star game. Like he can and a bunch more records that he can just completely obliterate. He can still do those things. So yeah, looking at it, your ceiling. You can really be a top 3 center all time if we're going to be real about these things. He really can do that.
It reminds me a little bit of the Steph discourse, like last year, and like really through that whole Warriors run of like, he's just like the best shooter of all time, or like he's the best shooting point guard. And now it's like he's climbing up a little bit. He's getting more like secure. Now can he be? He could be, but like Kevin Durant had that Finals MVP, so he can't be. And then he gets his next championship and he gets his Finals MVP, and it's like, all right, now he's. But then all of a sudden it's like he's better than Magic.
Yeah,
and it's like, what are we doing here? Why can't we just like be normal and like do the slow progress that is for most people? Like Steph's probably a top 10 player of all time. I think some people would argue it's not debatable. Some people would put him outside or just. But it's like now he's like better than Magic all of a sudden because he won. I don't know. It's just it's the way that we kind of like go back and forth and we just like can't find the middle on any of this stuff is kind of wild to me.
Will.
But
welcome to NBA discourse.
My whole point is that the Jokic stuff reminds me because it was like, oh, well, you know, he's a stat patter, and then it's like, well, no, actually, these triple doubles actually leads to wins in a way that it didn't for other guys.
Right.
Seriously.
And then it's like, oh, well, he's a great regular season player, but you can't win in the playoffs because people are just going to target him in pick and roll and they're going to dice him up. And then he's like guarding a ton of pick and roll and they win the championship.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, well, he's the greatest center of all time.
And that's how it goes. Once you knock down.
Sorry, Kareem. Sorry,
Right.
Bill Russell.
Right. When people
Sorry,
are saying
Hakeem.
that, I'm like, y'all got to chill on this greatest stuff.
But
like,
I mean, if
relax on
if
that.
this Nuggets core stays together and stays healthy and put together a few runs like this, and
Which
he
they
puts
absolutely
up,
can.
which
They
they
can
absolutely
definitely
can,
do. They
and he
can
does it
definitely do it.
again next year, and by does it again, I mean 600 more points, 269 more rebounds, and 190 more assists.
we're talking back-to-back titles. Hey, bro. Like,
And
yes.
then he
Have
starts
them
to climb up
discussions.
and creep into
But
that
there's-
top 5.
Yeah.
100%, but there's a lot of time in between
True.
then and now.
Oh,
and
no
I think
question
people,
about it.
people forget that.
No question about
Before we move on to the Heat and a little Jimmy Buckets talk and a little bit more of a Bulls fans lens through these NBA Finals, which we'll do after the break, anybody need more flowers given to them on this Denver Nuggets team? I wanted to give a quick shout out to Aaron Gordon, who, holy shit, he played some of the best defense I've ever seen him play. I saw anybody play in these NBA playoffs last night. Not just that one amazing like armpit block he had, which was like,
How did that?
I don't know. I watched it happen. And I was like, is Aaron Gordon 12 feet tall? How did that just happen?
Compared to Gabe Vincent,
But
yes.
So
correct.
He saved so many points
Yeah.
on what could have been and should have been transition buckets for the Heat because he was just a one-man wrecking crew of transition defense in ways that were very impressive to me to watch.
Yeah, several things. And I'll make them quick. But, yes, Aaron Gordon is definitely one I wanted to give a shout-out to. Shout out to my main man, Ish Smith, for getting the title. Y'all know I love some Ish
Finally
Smith.
got a title.
Shout out to him for getting that. Shout out to Mike Malone, not only for winning the title, but for doing what I wanted Spoelstra to do, which was empty the clip. When you saw that Bam Adebayo started working Jeff Green, like, nope, you getting your ass work. What did he do? Hey, DeAndre Jordan, dust them cobwebs off that jersey. Get your ass in the game. And all I needed was 5 minutes from him. And what'd he do? Rebound, block, 2 points. Like, that's it. That's all I needed from him, from DeAndre Jordan, man. Brilliant coaching decision saying, oh, you all struggle with centers. Let me get a center in here, do something with this. Love the fact, if we were giving out goons of the night for Denver, DeAndre Jordan would have got my goon of the night for doing what he did.
Barely played
right
in these playoffs.
Barely
He
played.
played this whole year.
Barely played his whole year, but was completely impactful when he got in that game, man. Definitely helped stem the tide a little bit for that squad because they were going on a nice run when Bam Adebayo realized Jeff Green was in on him. Shout out to Jeff Green for doing what he did, for getting a ring, for we not even knowing he was going to play basketball again, for the heart condition that he dealt with, to turn around and become an NBA champion. Shout out to him for that, man. And just shout out to everybody in Denver and the whole DNVR crew, man. I know that.
Rafael in the comments said DJ got a ring before CP3 did.
Dude, that's the 6th time I've seen that today. 6.
Now that is my kind of petty,
6.
ladies and gentlemen.
And all of them have come from people I know who hate Chris Paul. They all have sent me this stuff.
Everyone?
Not everyone. I got some friends that love him. Shout out my man Just Blaze.
Shout out also to our friend Manuel, who popped back in with a super chat saying, hey guys, sorry about an absent, work, but hyped for the offseason no matter what we do. It's going to be different vibes and a different year. Let's go. Hope
Yes,
Luke
sir.
comes back. His
Need a little
production
bit
is
more
underrated.
Manuel
Come on, man, Will.
positivity in here.
Appreciate
roll
the
with
super
me.
chat, Manuel. Always
Forgot
appreciate
how
the love.
much we've been missing that.
Glad
Yes.
you popped back in. All right,
I don't want to listen to me.
we got to take a break. We'll come back. We'll dive into
Manuel.
Jimmy and the Heat culture that bowed out in 5 last night.
You want to see some hate brags?
Let's-
Get ready.
Let's have
because
let's have some fun with that conversation.
This guy brags. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's on the way.
While we're sharing these words from our friends and sponsors, do us a quick, easy favor. Hit that like button. Looks like a thumb pointed in the upward direction right underneath the video here. Helps us out a lot.
Pointing in the opposite direction. That's what he said.
It looks like this,
Okay, thanks.
just in case people were unclear. Also, make sure you're subscribed to our CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Big Dave, who do we have first?
Oh, man. Well, Baby Joey was at the game
Oh,
last night.
soaking up those party vibes.
Yeah. I didn't know what he was doing, but he sent me a video of him driving a car that Aaron Gordon was sitting out the back of.
Oh, man.
So,
I
have
saw
a
a
Baby
video
Joey
of him
wanna do
in
it.
the locker room with champagne.
You saw Baby Joey in the locker
Yeah.
room
I
with
saw
champagne?
a video of it.
Oh, man. Now, see, he don't roll like that. He don't
Ski
like
goggles
being on
and
video.
everything.
He don't like being on
He
video.
probably hasn't
He's
even
underage. That's why he don't like being around that. He don't
He
like
didn't say he
being
was
probably-
drinking it, but he was
Yeah.
spraying it.
Okay, he said he was spraying it.
With
He's
the
still up.
ski goggles.
Hasn't gone to bed yet.
Listen, I ain't gonna put you out there like that, Baby Joey. I know you're under 21. I don't want to do that to you, bro. I ain't gonna do that. But that's what the GOAT say. But I know Baby Joey is happy. He's having a good time out in Denver. I don't know if he slept. So I do know one thing. He got some shady rays on his face, boy,
Oh.
because them eyes are red because he's
Have
out
to.
there.
Have
And when he
to.
put them on his face, he said they never understood. Never understood. Ever. They ain't get it. Why? Why? With my mama. Why?
Back at me.
All these glasses so damn expensive. Why do I have to pay all this money to put on premium polarized shades on my face at an affordable price? You know who heard you? Shady Rays. They heard you loud and clear. They said, we don't like it neither. They're an independent sunglasses company that offers that world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair you've ever put on your beautiful face. Durable frames, extremely clear optics for your outdoor, and as this awesome gentleman up please proves, your indoor adventures. And, of course, they have the Matt Peck Lost and Broken Replacements plan. There it is. Down. Out of anger, he tossed that. Or out of joy, we don't know. But it's been tossed. And glasses were on it, and they broke. Oh, no. But guess what? He realizes he could send those broken glasses right back to Shady Rays and brand new pair right back on his face doing what he wants to do. And also, let's say you saw the GOAT out there doing what he does. And you said, damn, them glasses look good on the GOAT. I want those exact pair of glasses. And then you get home and put them on. And then you say, wait a minute, I don't look like the GOAT. You know why? Because you ain't. It's only one. But you can send those pairs back in and get the frames that you will truly love sent right back to you, y'all. As long as you do it within 30 days, it is free. There's no risk when you shop. And they always have your back. So, exclusively for our listeners out there, Shady Rays giving away the best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com, use the code CHGO, get yourself 50% off of 2+ pairs of premium polarized shades. And try for yourself. The shades that are rated 5-star of over 250,000 people. Because it's Shady Rays, where the rays are oh so shady.
Today's show also brought to you by Lewis University.
Hey, Lewis.
At Lewis University, many of their students are adults just like you. Everybody watching, except for maybe Joey.
Many of these students.
Many have full-time jobs and or families.
Yes.
All of them chose
Great catch by me.
Lewis's supportive educational community to help make their transition back to school as easy as possible and earn a respected degree. Located just 35 miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville, it's ranked as one of the U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts and offers evening courses, online courses, and blended schedule formats to help you balance your work life, your family life, and furthering your education. Faculty bring real-world experience and instruction to the classroom, which is immediately relevant to your career. They offer career support and academic resources for all adults. Whether you're looking to complete your bachelor's or master's degree or enroll in a professional certificate program, Lewis has the right program for you. They offer several career-focused programs that will set you up for success. Criminal justice, data science, computer science, software engineering, cybersecurity, business analytics, finance, MBA, project management, and more. So here's what you do. Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/you can do this. One more time, that's lewisu.edu/you can do this.
All night long.
Because you can. All right, guys. Let's talk about the team that came out on the losing side of the NBA Finals. Also, shout out to Willie Gottlieb. Hate to tell you, never wrong. Picked Nuggets in 5. I was too mean to the Heat. Dave was too kind to the Heat. 4-6. Will got it right. Nuggets in 5.
Somewhere in the middle.
Jimmy Butler. I'm just going to enjoy this.
Yeah, let me go first.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to let you go last because I know where you're going. So
I was just going to rattle off his stat line.
Please do. No, go ahead.
Just for now.
Rattle off the stat line. Do you think?
21 points on 5 of 18. Other than a little mini burst in the fourth quarter, it was going to be like 2 for 14.
He was 2. Yeah, it was 2 of 12 at one point.
And that's 21 points on 5 of 18. Credit to him for that little one-man run.
Sure.
They gave the Nuggets a little bit of a scare at the end of this game. But 21 points, 5 of 18.
Yeah, he was trash. Like, that's just simply what it was. He was pure trash. And I think what highlights it more is because they needed him to not be that. And they needed him to just be, the guy that we had saw in the first round of the playoffs. They needed one of those kind of games. And we never really saw that Jimmy Butler again after the first round. He was unreal in that first round. Like, let's just call it what it is. He was special stuff. Shot 60% from the field. Unheard of stuff, right? Round 2, 43. Conference Finals, 42. Next round, 39. So it was a steady decline as far as, his percentages from the field. He still was definitely contributing. The man won the MVP of the Eastern Conference playoffs. So obviously he was still contributing out there for that team, and they wouldn't be there without Jimmy Butler. Like, let's just get that clear. But we got to call it what it is, man. He was terrible. It's that simple. In the plus-minus, Matt, Will, Jimmy Butler was in the plus one time this series.
Wow.
And that was game 2 when they won.
2.
He was a plus 3.
They lost, all the games by 50.
That's what I'm saying.
It's hard to be.
That's what I'm saying. But you still have to be the dude.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you're the guy. You still got to be the guy. He was a plus 3 in that victory that they had, and that was it. But he was not the Jimmy Butler that everybody kind of has seen. Everybody has kind of hyped him to be or wanted him to be on those kind of things. He didn't have it, man. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it just ran its course. Maybe just was tired.
After the ankle injury in that Knicks game, I think he really started to decline. And
People were definitely hypothesizing if he was just playing with a really badly sprained ankle in the the back 3 playoff series.
I mean, but still out there doing it. You still have to get out there and do. I mean, sprained ankle notwithstanding, still giving you 24 points. Doing it like that, and everybody still showing you that kind of love. Nobody was talking about an ankle then. I'm not going to talk about an ankle now because you came up short on the other end of this. So he just didn't play well, and the ankle had nothing to do with the turnovers that I saw him make at the end of the game. Those are terrible decisions. Had nothing to do with the 3-pointer I saw him take at the end of the game. That's a terrible decision. He just really made bad decisions down the stretch for his team. Now, again, they don't get there without Jimmy Butler. You don't get here without him.
Certainly not.
The dude balled for this team. We saw it happen, man. But I call it what it is, because we're just talking specifically about this game, man. And actually, in this series, he wasn't great. But this game, he just really did not have it. And he tried, I'm sure. You saw him out there trying to put forth his best effort. But he just didn't have it for him. And a lot of people were expecting him to do it. And he came up short for him, bro. He did.
And the run he made, where he scored like 13 straight points for the Heat in the fourth or whatever it was, is in itself very impressive and almost allowed the Heat to steal this game. But I, watching the first 3 quarters of this game, thought to myself countless times, that's a mid-ranger that Jimmy Buckets, playoff Jimmy G Buckets, takes and makes.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice
What I'm used
that,
to
like,
seeing.
His
He passed up a lot of shots.
He passed up a lot of shots.
Tons.
Number one, and you have to credit Jokic for this, but like, and it wasn't just Jimmy, but like there were times when guys would drive to the rim and Jokic would be there, and it's like Jokic is not supposed to be like this rim protecting center that you like can't finish over the top, like, but nobody would try to attack him, and like I said, credit to Jokic for like deterring a bunch of shots before they even happened.
Sure. But
it was just surprising to me. Gabe Vincent, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy, Caleb Martin, all those guys just like didn't take shots. And the other thing with Jimmy that I thought was weird was at a certain point in this series, he started falling forward on his jump shots instead of like the straight up and down or slight fade that he normally does. And it just looked so uncomfortable. Like he just, I think saying he played like trash is not fair considering how much he did defensively and how much he did facilitating. He had one game in this entire series where he had more than one turnover. He had like over a 25 usage. He's like dominating the ball. He's running the offense, and he's guarding Jamal Murray for 40-plus minutes. So I think like to say he played like trash is a little unfair. He also got to the line a ton, but he shot the ball really poorly, and I think he passed up a ton of shots that he needed to take. He was not the like dominant one-on-one scorer that they really needed him to be.
So what verb would you use outside of trash?
I don't know, just something not as
bad?
extreme. I thought he was bad, yeah.
Right.
Okay, you'll take bad.
See,
I say
or not
trash.
good
And
enough.
That's where I get hung up on Jimmy. And yes, Petty Peck loved every second of watching him lose last night because that's who I am. And it's not as much about Jimmy hate as it is Heat hate. Once Jimmy went to, it's like I didn't bask in the glory of his losses when he played for Minnesota as much or that Philly year as much. No, I freaking hate the Heat, God damn it. And now basically because of double agent D Wade, Jimmy has gone there and made it his home and Heat culture and all. I freaking hate it. I'm a Bulls fan, first and foremost, now and always. So, Jimmy's got a Heat jersey on? To hell with that. I'm not going to be our producer, Steven, rocking a Jimmy Heat jersey at the office because I'm a Jimmy Butler fan before I'm a fan of any team.
All right.
No.
Go ahead.
Long way of saying, when and this is stuff that like our pal Mark K, big Jimmy guy himself, was
out.
ranting about on Twitter last night when he was making fun of me for being petty. These like, oh my gosh, Jimmy exceeds these wildest expectations for people who just see him as like, oh, he's a pretty good player, but then want to put that superstar label on him. Mark wants to put that top 10 player label on him. So if that's the label on this player and he shoots 5 of 18 in a win or seasons over game, yeah, we're going to call you out for being trash in that game. That means everything. You can't have it both ways, Jimmy Stans. Can't have it both ways, God damn it.
These are facts, ladies and gentlemen. That's exactly how I feel. Exactly how I
The
feel.
hat throw graphic.
Yes.
Shout out to you, Braggs.
Yeah. If you're going to be that guy,
Braggs is ready now.
if you're going to be if you're going to be that. He was
Slow down.
He didn't even move. Look at him. He's like, nope, not
Sure,
moving.
you don't
I'm
have
standing
to
right
keep
here, man.
moving my hat.
Not gonna do it. But that's what I've been arguing with my brother all day long because he's a big Jimmy guy. He's a Jimmy Stan. Like I'm like, bro, like you're somewhere else right now, man. But he's a Jimmy. But that's the point I'm arguing, dog. Like, if you're deserving of the praise, yes, give that man the praise. He did his thing. But when you don't, you're deserving of the criticism at the same time. And it's not hate. It's literally the truth.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude.
Shout out to you, Vincent, on Twitter. If you're watching or listening to today's show, he called me out for being disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
And I was like, so apparently it's disrespectful to call somebody out for having a bad game now?
Dude, he had a terrible game.
That's soft. I'm
Like,
sorry, that's freaking soft.
It wasn't on point, dog. Like, No, I'm not with it at all, man. Like, if you're going to be playoff Jimmy, if you're going to be Jimmy Jordan, if you're going to be all these things, dog, then I'm going to call you Jimmy Bridesmaid when you come up short. That's just what it is, bro. So that's just what it is. You can't be that guy, because being the guy means you come with a certain rocks that you're going to get thrown at you. You know, you don't want to be that dude, be whack.
But doesn't there have to be a level of perspective to it? Because they're an 8 seed that got in from the play-in game.
We gave him the props. Like, I said that at the beginning.
It's an
I give him the
unbelievable
props.
run.
Incredible.
He ran out of gas is really what it is.
Yeah. Don't disagree with you at all. But are you still not mad at your car when it runs out of gas? I know I am. You pissed.
Giannis hurt, Knicks mid as hell, Boston choked. But give the Heat all the credit in the world.
Now that's petty. Now that's petty. You see me? You see the difference?
Hater.
You see the difference?
Man,
There's the
I got a lot to strive for in this.
There you got to learn, man.
There are always more levels of
bask.
petty that you can reach, Brad.
He bask in the rays of the petty. Is what he did.
I shall teach you, young grasshopper. I mean,
my whole thing with it, though, is like, I think, and I'm not like just directing it at you. Like, I know I was tweeting at you today because I was giving you a hard time and because we're friends. But like, I think there are a lot of Bulls fans that were like rooting for him to lose, which is something that I just like, I can't understand, because I think it's just strange to me that like, he already got there. Like at a certain point, he's playing with house money, and it reminds me of like that whole discourse after the Bucks lost in the first round, and Eric Name asked Giannis, was this season a failure? And I think like if you just think about it black and white, did you win the championship or not? Like, sure, maybe that's a failure, but I think you have to put some context into it. And so when you think about it with context, the Bucks were the #1 seed. They have a multi-time MVP. They had a chance to win the title this year. They were, like I said, #1 seed. They were expected to be a really good and competitive, high-level competition team, and they didn't make it that far. They failed in the first round, and I think that's different than being a team that was not expected to accomplish much coming into the season, that didn't accomplish much during the season, and then went on this run and got to that point. So for me, for like a lot of the Bulls fans that are upset, or that I should say that are happy that Jimmy failed, like to me, him getting there was the success. And so whether or not he had a bad game, and he definitely did, in certain aspects of the game, like I said, I think he was still really good at facilitating, minus for the one turnover that he had late in the game. His only turnover in that game, and shooting poorly. Like, I think for a guy that's been to the finals now twice, who's been in the Eastern Conference 3 times, if you're a fan of a team that has missed the playoffs all but 1 year in the 6 years since he's been gone, like, I just don't see how you can make that criticism.
And that's the other important context, I think, is when you're talking about, well, wow, like credit the Heat, an 8 seed doing this. They also play a style that's not particularly pretty modern basketball, and so people think of them as a scrappy team that wins with will and fight and whatever adjective you want to use. So that plus the 8 seed, I think, helped fuel this narrative of this underdog story this year. And as you just brought up, dude, this team, very much similar core, like lost PJ Tucker in the offseason, but this team was one made shot away from being in the finals last year. Like, okay, yes, they were an 8th seed, but no, they just were a team that dealt with injuries and this and that and didn't have a great regular season.
If you say they overachieved in the playoffs, you also have to acknowledge that they totally underachieved in the
regular season. Correct. Yeah.
And like, I think to bring it back to the Bulls, like if that's the argument for keeping this team together, like fine, but that's the history that you're talking about here. You're talking about conference finals last year, conference finals 2 years ago, including a finals run. Like, that's a different story than a team that's made the playoffs one time. A group that's made the playoffs together one time and has one playoff win.
Right.
It's a completely different story. So I just think that, like, a lot of people defend the Jimmy Butler trade, and we don't have to, like, relitigate the whole thing.
Thank you.
But a lot of people defend it because they say, like, well, the Bulls never would have put a team around him that was good enough, so you may as well trade him. And, like, to me, that's just like the total wrong way to think about it, because you look at this team, it's a bunch of undrafted guys that, granted, the Heat developed into really good players.
Yes, they did.
And now they're good players. Like, the undrafted thing, I also think falls into that sort of that piece of that narrative that you're just talking about that really like fueled this whole thing about them like overachieving. like those guys are good players, but they're not like he's not playing on a team with a bunch of stars.
Right.
And I think that's admirable, but I also think it speaks how good he is because
Right.
he can take you there. And even though he did not play his best basketball even at all during the second or third or finals, the second series,
Right.
third series or finals, he's still the number one guy on a team that has gone to the finals twice.
Yeah.
And like for Bulls fans, you should be pretty thrilled if your team is making it that far because right now you have one win since he left.
See, I
in the
disagree
playoffs.
with all of that. That last part is what I don't like at all. Because when you're bringing up Bulls saying, well, your team isn't good enough just because this team is being successful and that's why you shouldn't go after them. You could say that about the Bears and the Packers all day long. You don't like that team because you don't like that team. It has nothing to do with nothing else other than they just don't like the Heat. If they don't like the Heat, then they don't like the Heat, bro.
But
like,
that's separate than a lot of what I've heard, which is that they're
but you can't. But I don't like saying, well, dude, your team only has one playoff win, so you can't say anything. Like I don't like that narrative, bro. Like I don't even think that's a fair narrative because you're not. It has nothing to do with you. Like you're talking about the team that just played in the finals. You're happy that team lost because for whatever reason, you're just happy that team lost. To bring it back and compare it to what you're dealing with, I don't think it's a fair thing to do. It's just a rivalry thing. Like I don't care what if the Pistons lose or the Knicks lose, I'm gonna celebrate it. Like period, point blank. Like I hate the Knicks. Like I don't care if you tell me about their better season or whatever. I don't give a damn. They lost. I'm joyful. Has nothing to do with the Bulls winning one. Well, your team won one. Well, that has nothing to do with any of it. Like I don't like them. Like this is just really that simple.
That's fair. But my point is that I've seen a lot of it directed specifically at Jimmy. And Jimmy is on the Heat, but he is not the Heat. And I think for a player to take you that far, and to say that that's failure or to celebrate him losing because you say that's failure. Like if the Bulls had made it that far, whether it was with Jimmy or not, as a play-in team that underachieved in the regular season, that would have been a successful season. I think that's different context than where the Bucks were. And so I think it's unfair to call or to celebrate that failure.
But the thing to call it, like, I hear that point, but the thing of it is Jimmy doesn't look at it that way himself. Like, for him, it's a failure because he didn't win. So when he looked, like, even when they won the Eastern Conference championship, he said, I don't even want to touch that trophy because I want to touch the other one. Like, that's not his goal. That wasn't him. For him, it's a failure. It's a, like, dude, and he's a leader of the team. So if he's looking at it that way, how can you not?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think if you're a fan of a team that goes that far and your team does not go that far, like, I would have been happy if it was my team that went that far. And he's clearly a guy that can take you there.
Oh,
That
we
is
would have
my
been
only
happy if the Bulls went
Right.
7.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like,
the
yes,
Bulls,
I hear you.
and Jimmy is a guy that can take you there.
The thing that I find amusing,
And also, he's not the best player in the league. Like, he
No.
ran into a team that was just straight up better than him.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, like, Jimmy is the GOAT and, like, all this stuff. Like, I just think it would have been great had the Bulls made it that far. And I think it's clear that
They haven't in a while.
they haven't, but also that Jimmy was a guy that could take them that
sure.
far.
And revisionist history, was it wrong of the Bulls to make that trade and give up on building around Jimmy? Yeah, probably. I think evidence has shown at this point that they would have probably more playoff appearances and maybe deeper playoff runs had they kept Jimmy and built around him than what they've done in the meantime in reality. But that doesn't mean, depending on where the Bulls are right now, which looks worrisome and kind of stuck, compared to what Jimmy did for that team, if I want to enjoy the fact that team that's not my team lost, I'm going to do that. And it has nothing, in my opinion, to do with where the Bulls are right now, because that's what Mark kept coming back at me on Twitter last night. He was like, oh, yeah, go ahead and enjoy this, you Jimmy hater. Look where the Bulls are. And I was like, I don't give a crap. Right here in this moment, I'm an NBA fan watching the finals, and I'm also a Bulls fan now and always. He's not wearing a Bulls jersey.
And a Nuggets better?
What?
And a Nuggets better?
What do you mean?
Did you bet on the Nuggets to win the championship?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you win some money?
I did.
I did too.
Yep.
I did not. I really wanted the Joker triple double bet to cash as well.
Okay.
Just in the clinching game, but only had 4 assists last
I had
night.
Nuggets plus 2,000 before the season started. I'm very proud of that.
Oh, look at this man.
I'm very proud of
Listen to the GOAT, ladies and gents. Listen to him.
Yeah, no.
put $10,000 on
beginning
it.
of the season, I put bets on Bucks and Warriors, and that's what I thought finals would be. But then when the playoffs started, I put money on the Nuggets.
I'm so glad I'm not a big gambler, man. I would have spent.
All right, we got to take one more break. We'll come back to wrap up
Too much
with
money to blow.
one of the architects of that championship Nuggets team, Bulls VP Arturas Karnisovas. We'll get to that coming up next. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already.
Hit it.
Boom. Looks like that. Big Dave, who do we got?
You know what it looks like? Yeah, it looks like that. Now that's a thumbs up. You see that? That's a thumbs up, ladies and gents. All right.
I learned that at
Lewis University.
Lewis University.
You can do it all night long. Goose Island Beer Company, y'all.
Woo.
Oh, we love beer.
We do.
Beer's an awesome thing.
Love it.
Beer's a cool thing. Brad, you like beer? I'll
Does
take
that
that as
answer
a
your
yes.
question?
Yes. I'll
That's a
take
yes.
that as a yes then, that he must like beer. I'll assume that. Kev, you like beer? Kev says yes. He likes beer as well.
thumbs up.
So yes. And the beer that we enjoy is from the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer, since 1988. That was the Jordan year. Goose Island came out during the Jordan year. If you want to know what Jordan year is, just ask me. I will tell you. It was a perfect season is what it was. I mean, it had a perfect season. Well, perfect-ish. Because then win the title.
No title.
Yeah, no title. Goose Island IPA is what they got. The 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest. The Tropical Beer Hug. They got the 312 Wheat Ale. And, of course, the Peck and Dave approved Full Pocket Pills. The Full Pocket Pills. And y'all,
Delicious.
that everyday beer is what the brewers and the people who drink what the brewers brew are drinking. So grab yourself an ultra fresh brewery exclusive. I always struggle with that. Brewery exclusive. Brewery.
That's a tongue
Favorite
twister.
Brewery
brewer's favorite brew?
exclusive beers.
The rural jar.
At the original brew house on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in West Town. Goose Island Beer Company, y'all, is Chicago's beer and the true taste of Chicago.
Today's show also brought to you by our friends at ComEd. The energy efficiency program from ComEd is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future. That's right, ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their vast territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, and industrial processes. Now, Goat, you're probably thinking to yourself right now, well, that sounds great, Peck, but how the heck does it work?
How the heck does it work?
Simple as the Nuggets championship, man. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. These can be done in person or virtually and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects they can start working on right away. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback plans. If you own a business, 1, good for you. 2, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Hold on. Was that ComEd.com/poweringbiz?
That's correct, Goat. ComEd.com/poweringbiz, B-I-Z-biz. Schedule your appointment today. You know who could probably do with a free facility assessment?
Who that is?
Bulls Vice President Arturas Karnisovas. It seems like something he might find useful right now.
Our building, baby.
He needs some kind of assessment. The man needs an assessment of some kind. I wanted to spend the last part of our show today talking about what AK built with this Nuggets team, what AK didn't build, i.e. what changes and tweaks to this championship quality roster were made after he left and took our Bulls job, and what that might say about the decisions facing him this offseason to try and improve this team somehow. So basically, it's simple. Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., 2 star core pieces and an additional core piece.
Yes.
All drafted while AK was a part of that Nuggets front office.
Yes.
Other pieces like, say, Aaron Gordon, who's been massive for them. Bruce Brown, big acquisition. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and that trade that they made
Big one.
For sending away Monte Morris and Will Barton, who used to be staples of this Nuggets team. Those moves made after AK left. What level of credit, if any, does AK deserve for the portion of this Nuggets team that just won a championship?
And also Christian Brown.
Christian
Also
Brown.
draft pick after him.
Draft pick who played big minutes as a rookie
Yeah.
in playoff games, drafted after AK's departure.
I don't know enough about AK's time to properly answer you on that question. What I do know is he was a part of it as far as the draft. Everything I've read and everything I've heard, and you correct me on this, please, but everything I've read and everything I've heard stated that he was an integral part in getting those players to Denver as far as Jokic and Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were concerned. So knowing that he was that involved with the main, basically their big three, even though I think Eric Gordon is more so that than MPJ, but him being involved with the biggest dog in the yard and then the second biggest dog in your yard. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give him all the credit he deserves. I don't know what they got to do with, what we're doing here. But as far as that, yes. From what I've heard and everything I've seen, he's supposed to get his credit for getting those guys. And whoever gets the credit, everybody should get credit for Jokic, who was involved in that, all right? Mm-hmm. This is the second-round pick during the Taco Bell commercial, who turned into what could arguably be a top 3 center all time. So that's incredible, It's just like I feel about Jimmy Butler. Whoever's involved with that, give them all the credit in the world, because that arguably the greatest late first-round pick ever.
30th, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can argue that. So, yeah, give him all the credit he deserves for being involved in that as far as helping them build a champion.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to know what goes on in the inner workings of these organizations. Like you said, everybody's touching it, so, you have to give credit where it's due, but you also have to, give blame where it's due.
Sure.
AK, I'm just looking at his Wikipedia right now. He, on July 16th, 2013, he became the assistant manager of the Nuggets. And then when Tim Conley, and then later in 2017, he became their general manager. So in 2017, he obviously got some more responsibilities. In that year, they had already drafted Murray. Mm-hmm. They had already drafted Jokic. Mm-hmm. They had already traded for Nurkic and Gary Harris from the Bulls. Mm-hmm. And then that year, they drafted Donovan Mitchell and traded him to the Jazz. Mm. Next year, Michael Porter at 13, and then I believe that was, no pick in 2019. So that was, and then 2020 he came to the Bulls. So, I mean, if you just look at it by year of when he was the GM who they drafted, Jokic wasn't necessarily a part of that. Mm-hmm. But obviously he was super involved in the building of that organization, and drafting Jokic obviously has the European ties. At the end of the day, though, my point is that we can't know who did what. Mm-hmm. He may have been advocating for a certain guy. All these guys have a say, and it's it's a group decision. So you have to give him credit. But like you said, Matt, a lot of the guys were brought in that kind of made this version of it work.
Right. That was Calvin Booth. A lot of these fringe roster pieces that ended up being big, important, there to play a role and embraced that role.
Right.
Role players, those guys all came from Calvin Booth's decision making.
That's true.
As far as AK, Gio in the comments said, I hope AK can build towards a Denver-like constructed roster that brings the Bulls into the modern era of basketball. That's the other thing that I find interesting is if there's any correlation as far as style of roster building. Mm-hmm. Because what the Nuggets have done here and started doing when AK was an assistant GM and then their GM is build a core of players through the draft who you develop, who turn into stars, some of them anyway, and then find the right pieces to go around them. AK came to Chicago, took a shortened season look at what he inherited, and blew it the hell up, other than Zach LaVine and Kobe White.
It's true.
In less than a year, basically, he overturned the entire roster, save Zach and Kobe, and then made aggressive trades, aggressive sign-in trades,
the coaching,
and turning over a coaching staff with that.
Thank you.
That's it. I mean,
thank you.
I just skated right past that, assuming it was a given. Yeah. Do you remember? You remember when some Bulls fans were convinced that the new front office wasn't gonna fire you know who? I had to talk them all off the ledge every day.
That's all we did.
What insane person would come in and be like, "This is our guy.
Keep that guy." Oh yeah, we need him around right there. The punch clock, we love it.
It's interesting because people kept in the weeks leading through the conference finals and the finals, and the story of this Nuggets team, the people who actually paid attention and cared about it was a team that many people were asking, fire the coach, the whole like Teflon Mike thing with, Mike Malone. And maybe they should have traded Jamal Murray at some point, and they could have had an opportunity to trade Jamal Murray and didn't. And what finally worked with Denver with this core of players? Continuity. And simultaneously, Bulls fans over here in Chicago are like, oh, dear God, I hear the word continuity from AK, and I have a gross heart attack because I'm not buying it. But like you and I were chatting about this today before our show. Like continuity with that Nuggets team, tweaking some things on the fringes, great.
And same with the Heat.
Same with the Heat,
yeah.
Continuity with what the Bulls have right now, different story.
Yeah, because one, they haven't decided to build around their best player
right
yet. They gave it a shot with Lonzo and DeMar and like that, but then during the season it became very blurred. Who that guy was between DeMar and between Zach. And Zach is the one you need to build around, but that's different. But yeah, like I don't think he'll do anything differently here than he did there. He obviously likes the continuity. He likes those guys, that no one's really looking at or has really heard of. Hence Marco getting signed like that. Hence Dalen Terry, another guy getting signed at that 18th pick. So he's been par for the course as far as how he handles it. What hasn't been was believing in something that everybody can see isn't working, like 3-point shooting. And they're saying that we don't need this. We got this already. That's where I draw the line, as far as belief, because you're looking at something that nobody's seeing because everything backs up to say that was trash. And now you make the decision like, it was trash. Let's go get a shooting. Let's get a shooting coach out here and do those kind of things. So, yeah, man, like it's going to be just interesting. Honestly, it's just the Bulls have a real weird offseason, and follow what this guy is writing and saying about this Bulls offseason because it's incredibly informative. But yeah, man, like I don't know where they go from here. I'm just sitting here to watch it and enjoy it, hopefully enjoy it, and critique it when it goes down.
Yeah, I think like the idea or the argument for continuity makes sense for some groups, but not others. And here's why. Like,
ooh, let's go.
The Heat, like we talked about, had been to the conference finals for 3 out of 4 years. Mm-hmm. They've been to the finals twice. They have best players than the Bulls do. Mm-hmm. All due respect. Like, Jimmy's better than DeMar. Mm-hmm. Jokic is better than Vooch. Like, they have best players. And so when you have that proof of concept, and I know the Bulls had it while Lonzo was ready or while he was playing, you can't bank on that anymore. And so I think the argument for continuity just doesn't hold up for a team that's made the playoffs one time, mm-hmm. that has one playoff win to show for it. It's a different conversation. And even still, you're building, like I said, your best players aren't as good. You're building like a worse version of those teams. And that would be great if you like consistently made the second round right. and were competitive there. But again, you've made the playoffs 1 out of 3 years, basically.
True.
They started trying in the second half of the first season when they made the trade for Vooch and missed the playoffs then. So I get it. There's something to be said for continuity, and I think it does work for teams, but it has to be warranted by the talent and by the proof of concept. And I don't think the Bulls are at that point. Maybe they prove me wrong next year and everybody's healthy and they overachieve and they look a lot better and then it like makes more sense. But just based on what we've seen, I don't think that's true. And I don't see a world where things start to get better now that guys are older, now that guys are going to play less games probably. Like, I mean, you can't play more than 82 like Vooch did this year.
Right.
St. Patrick. Zach played 77. Like, it's difficult for me to envision the pathway for them to be better with this same group. On top of that, like you said, with the shooting and with the defense and the switchability, like these are all things that these teams added over time, implemented, whether it's stylistic to their offense, the way that the Heat run all these dribble handoffs and get into threes that way, or the Nuggets spacing it out with 3-and-D wings like Bruce Brown and KCP and Aaron Gordon. It's a different thing. And I think you also have to then factor in the draft picks, the development, and the money for free agents. Like, the Bulls aren't in a position to be able to add talent that way. And I think we've talked about this before too. I think the blow it up is an easy cop out. Like, we don't have to be sitting here worried about tickets at the gate or jerseys sold or money that comes in that way. But for me, it's just hard to believe how you get to the next level with this certain group, given where you are with draft picks, with money, with age, with health. And like I said, these guys are smarter than I am. Maybe they figure it out. I just don't see it.
And it's interesting that you ended on that thought, because I see examples every day, sometimes more than once a day, of people within this fan base who are convinced after a few years on the job and the way that this season ended that AK doesn't have a single brain cell in his head.
That's just
Which is just what I find frustrating from some members of this Bulls fan base. Like, we're all fans, we're all on the same team. We're all rooting for the same team, right?
Yeah.
Has AK made some questionable decisions that have led him into a pretty dark corner right now?
Yes.
Yes. But at least he was bold in some decisions, and maybe some of it backfired. And
again, like
Lonzo, I guess is a calculated risk because he was a player with an injury history.
How can you plan for that?
what are you gonna do?
tough.
Like not try?
Yeah.
Like you have to.
That's what the
you
old
have to
front
take
office did, was
swings.
not try.
Enjoy
and
that.
I respect the way that they did it. Like it did work for a period of time, but I think it's reassessing things, taking an honest stock of like where you are now,
Right.
and trying to figure
have
out
to
how to pivot,
Keep
because
trying.
continuing to do the same thing and expecting a different result
Is the definition of insanity.
insanity.
Correct. The Mundo will to go, Gottlieb.
You know, the Nuggets, good team, made some tweaks, became a great team. And some of them were more than tweaks.
Yes.
Like Monte Morris and Will Barton, there's like, no. We figured out this isn't what we need.
Right,
We need
exactly.
KCP.
Yeah.
We need you, Bruce Brown.
Right.
Aaron Gordon, we need you.
They're like, oh,
Those are aggressive, targeted moves.
Oh, Bones Highland's not
improve-
working out here?
Right. To improve the roster, to put around these core pieces that you
Right.
assembled.
Right.
And I am not saying that I have given up faith in AK's ability to build a roster that way. But this season, paired with last offseason with very little movement, trade deadline, very little movement, doubling down, continuity, that is the part that's gotten frustrating.
Correct.
And that is the part that I think Bulls fans are valid
Yes.
to feel uneasy about coming into this offseason when we're talking about, well, you know, they got the veteran minimum. They'll be able to use maybe a portion of the mid-level.
But that's the other thing.
And
like,
run it back,
the money is a huge part of it.
Correct.
And like the Nuggets are in the tax. They're paying it. The Bulls aren't.
You can do that?
You can do that. So again, this is not apples to apples, and I see what like the nuts and bolts of it, and like the core. You can see what he tried to do. He tried to get a center that you can run your offense through,
Correct.
who can score down low, who can be a good passer, who can shoot it. You try to get a really dynamic perimeter scorer in Zach LaVine, who you already have obviously on the roster, who can score from all three levels, and hopefully who can, you know, he's at the time when they took over the team, he was like 26. Hopefully he can continue to get better.
Correct.
And then what did Zach LaVine need? What were the criticisms of his game? He's
Handling the
not
ball
a
too
late
much.
game decision maker. You need an additional perimeter scorer.
Yes.
So you go out and get a big wing initiator in DeMar DeRozan. Like,
Yes.
and then you fill it out with defense and shooting with Lonzo and Caruso. Like all that stuff worked and it was good. But at a certain point when it stops working, you need to figure out solutions. And that's where the Bulls are now. They need to figure out solutions.
Boom. That's it.
All right, that is it for today. We are out of time. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out of here if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Sign up to be a diehard. If you're on the fence, haven't made that decision yet, why not now? Will's got an awesome draft database available for diehard members only, allchgo.com/diehard. Also, still thinking about coming to Vegas? Come to Vegas. We're going to go to Vegas for Summer League about a month from right now. You can come hang out with us. Information on our
be at the
website there
tables.
as well under CHGO Road Trips. We'll be back tomorrow. Another show, same time, same place, 4 o'clock Chicago time. Until then, you can follow Will on Twitter, Will_Gottlieb. Big Dave is at BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. Shout out and thanks to our production crew today, Greg Braggs in the stands.
He still hasn't moved.
And
He's
Sarah
terrified.
giving him that support
Hey, Sarah.
and fetching my hat after I threw it
Kevin's here, too.
once or twice. There's Kev. Hi, Kev. Hard at work.
Stucky's here? What
Oh,
up,
yeah,
Stuck?
I did see Stucky just walk in. That must mean we got some Cubs baseball action tonight.
Yeah.
They still out on the West Coast, Stucky?
Let's hope so, because it's pouring out.
There might be a rain delay, depending on what time they're supposed to start
delay.
that game. Because
What does Stuck do on a rain delay?
makes you feel better, no matter what. Thanks for watching, y'all.
It does not.
We will talk to you tomorrow. Until
Y'all
then,
pay for that hat?
T-Red, be good.
Peace and love, y'all. We out.